What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Chael Sonnen leaks Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan. In the wake of Ilia Topuria's big victory over Charles Oliveira, it's remained unclear what the UFC has in store for El Matador's first title defense. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. While Justin Gaethje is playing hardball with the UFC and Paddy Pimblett is hoping to cash in on his long-standing feud with Topuria, Chael Sonnen is confident that the UFC is going to give the next crack at the title to Arman Tsarukyan. During a recent interview with MMA Junkie's Mike Bond, he explained,
First off, I'm obviously coming to you with information that whether I should have or I shouldn't. Secondly, I was the best man in his wedding. His name's Daryl Christian, and he's the wrestling coach of Arman Tsarukyan. Third, I just spoke to Coach Cal. I wanted to come out and I wanted to film Chimaev training, and it turns out that Tsarukyan's in the room. And then a bigger tell also was what Ilia did a week ago, which is said, I don't want to fight. But Ilia's first move when he's going to fight a guy, aside from Paddy, is to say, I'm not fighting him.
Given Sonnen's long-standing track record when it comes to announcing fights, however, fans are not convinced. Hell no, he's always spewing I love Chael, but he's so wrong so often. Another added, he also said Tom and John Jones is happening. One joked, Chael is wrong like 3 times a week. Even though the fight seems like a realistic possibility given the rankings, fight fans are skeptical of Sonnen. This fight could happen, and it should, but I don't trust Chael. During a recent episode of the Jackson podcast, Brendan Schaub weighed in.
Because he's been here. Yeah. Let's say they make the Paddy fight and it's not for another 3 or 4 months at least. If you're Arman, what do you tell him to do if you're his manager?
Me personally, obviously, if I had a personal relationship with Dana White, maybe my answer would be different. Or the UFC as a manager. Hypothetically speaking, if I've already waited this long, I would hope that I could withstand a little bit more waiting period and then go straight to a belt fight. But I think taking a smaller fight just to stay active at this point is a lose-lose no matter what, because you've waited so long already.
I can see both sides. My thing is that I don't know his relationship with Dana and them, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to ask Dana like, hey, I know you guys doing the Paddy thing. Am I for sure next or am I going to have to take a fight? Because I want to weigh my options. So if Dana goes, we're doing Paddy. If I'm Arman, I'm like, so can I wait? And if they say no, I'm like, what are my options? If they say it's a Gaethje, those are good odds.
Yeah.
With Topuria looking to return before the end of the year, we may be in for an announcement sooner rather than later. Renato Moicano talks about rejecting UFC settlement. Last month, news emerged that Renato Moicano decided not to claim the money he was owed as part of the Lee v. Zuffa antitrust settlement. While reports suggested that some active fighters were afraid to claim the money because they feared retaliation from the UFC, Moicano said that he wasn't going to be claiming the $200,000 he was owed because, at the end of the day, he was the one who chose to sign the UFC's contracts. During an appearance on the Ariel Helwani show this week, Moicano opened up on his decision. I base the stuff that I do based on principles, and that's hard. I like money, but I would never rob a bank. I would never go against my word just to get money. That's my whole point. My whole point is, when these people signed with the UFC, they were very happy about this. 10 years later, they say, no, I was not happy. I was abused. And then, when they have the chance to keep going with the lawsuit, they dropped it because they did the settlement. So they got the money and the lawsuit is gone. Guess what? UFC will continue doing the same thing that you've been complaining about. Despite the fact that he chose not to claim the $200K he's entitled to, Moicano went on to criticize the UFC, saying that he doesn't care about the UFC and at the end of the day, the company only cares about profit. Given that Hunter Campbell tried to get Moicano to claim the money he's owed, maybe we'll see the UFC give him a big performance bonus for his next fight. Reinier not interested in Paulo Costa fight and laughs at call-out. Despite Paulo Costa's big win over Roman Kopylov last month, the former title challenger is ranked 12th at middleweight and is just 1-2 in his last 3 fights. Because of that, Reinier has no interest in a fight with Costa, who wound up in a back and forth with a fake RDR account on social media recently. During a recent interview with MMA Fighting, RDR shot down Costa's call-out. He really wants that fight, I think. He really wants to set something up. Keep trying, Paulo. You'll get there. He would be a fun build-up, the reader said about fighting Costa. Would be very fun in the press conference and everything with Paulo because he's a character. But right now, I don't think he's there. Considering RDR is ranked number 5 at middleweight, Costa will likely need to pick up one more win before being in a position to call for a fight, even if he is able to generate tons of buzz on social media in the meantime. Released UFC fighter breaks silence on situation. Martin Budai's fight with Marcus Buchecha at the end of July was the last one on the streaking heavyweights UFC contract. Heading into the fight, Budai had won 2 in a row and posted a UFC record of 6-1. However, despite a unanimous decision win over Marcus Buchecha, the promotion opted not to renew his contract. During an appearance on the Ariel Helwani show on Monday, Budaj spoke about the situation, explaining that the UFC never even tried to negotiate. "We were celebrating after the win, and I got a call from my manager that UFC will not extend the contract with me. It was pretty rough. I was really upset and very sad about it because I love UFC. I was hoping to get re-signed. There was no negotiation. To make it clear, I wasn't asking for more money or anything. The only thing I asked was to re-sign me." Despite the shock, Budaj is looking ahead to what's next, citing the PFL as a possibility. "I'm feeling a little bit better. I have some offers from other promotions from all around the world, so I'm thinking about what's next for me. I like the interest of PFL, of course, and also Octagon MMA, where I was a champion before I entered the UFC. In the past, we've seen fighters like Modestas Bukauskas re-sign with the UFC after picking up wins on the regional scene. However, in the case of Budaj, he leaves the UFC on a 3-fight win streak, meaning if he wants to get back in the octagon, he'll probably need to pick up some exciting wins instead of decisions. Michael Page interested in Leon Edwards' fight at welterweight. Although Michael Venom Page's most recent fight against Shara Bullet was at 185, and MVP's upcoming fight against Jared Cannonier is also at 185, the striking phenom is still looking to go back down to welterweight in the future. During a recent appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, MVP called out Leon Edwards for a fight next year. "I still think a Leon Edwards fight is a great fight for the UK. Obviously, that's going to be at welterweight. If that's offered to me, I 100% accept. I kind of only want it in the UK anyway, so technically, it wouldn't have been in place until next year anyway. I think everything's timing. I think if it aligns for next year, that would be perfect." MVP also explained why he decided to fight Jared Cannonier at 185, when his ultimate goal is to drop back down to 170 and chase the title. "I want to make a lot of noise. Obviously, I wanted to do that at welterweight, but I want to go where the smoke is. It doesn't seem like anybody at welterweight is carrying fire. It seems to be very political of who you can fight and who's ready to fight. I called out everybody and I got no answers. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll just get another fight at middleweight again. Jared is an amazing fighter to share the cage with, so why not?" Considering Cannonier is ranked at number 8 at middleweight, MVP could wind up ranked with a win on the 16th. UFC updates. Following this past weekend's Taira vs. Park card, let's take a look at today's UFC updates, starting with an update on Joe Pyfer. On Monday, the UFC announced via social media that a fight between Pyfer and Abus Magomedov will take place on the UFC 320 Anka Live vs. Pereira 2 card, set for October 4th. Pyfer, who's currently riding a 2-fight win streak, will be looking to land on the UFC's rankings with a win, while on the flip side, Magomedov, who is currently ranked 14th, will be looking to make it 4 in a row, following a win over Michel Pereira back in April. Burt MMA reported that Edgar Chairez has withdrawn from a September 13th fight with Alessandro Costa, and as a result, the flyweight will face Alden Coria at UFC Noche. Costa has not fought since May 2024 when he stopped Kevin Borjas. Coria, meanwhile, will be making his octagon debut. The American-Finnish-German Orpinedo Ponce at a Fury FC event in May, and is 3-1 with 1 no contest in his last 5. And during a recent appearance, Khabib Nurmagomedov spilled the beans on his cousin Usman's next fight. For months now, there's been speculation as to if and when the PFL would book a rematch between the lightweight champion Nurmagomedov and Paul Hughes. The two fought in January, and Usman was awarded the bout by a majority decision. But not everyone agreed with that scoring, and calls for a rematch have been rampant. Well, during the aforementioned appearance, Khabib reported that Usman and Paul are going to battle for a second time October 4th in Dubai.
Myself, I believe and I hope he's gonna come back strong and win this. And there is Usman. He is a hell of a fighter. He's fighting in October 4th in Dubai with Senegal. He fought last time. It was hard fight. And now we will see how we're gonna deal with. They're gonna have their match. We will see how we're gonna deal with this. I told them always, guys, do not try to take from me some advices. You have hard time. For example, you have hard time. I want you to deal with this by yourself, because it's gonna be better for you.
Additionally, we've also got some big news regarding former UFC fighters Artem Lobov and Zubaida Tukhugov, who notably were on opposite ends of the infamous Team McGregor vs. Team Khabib brawl years back. According to a post Lobov made on social media, the two will be throwing down under the PFL banner on October 3rd at 165 pounds. As Lobov wrote, 7 years in the making, time to get revenge. Of course, Artem won't have Conor McGregor in his corner when the two face off, as the two former teammates continue to battle it out in court over money that Lobov believes he's owed from the Proper 12 sale. Caio Borralho believes Robert Whittaker is near the end of his career. Prior to Robert Whittaker's recent loss to Reinier, the former middleweight champion had signaled that his career was winding down. Well, following that bout, Caio Borralho sounds pretty certain that Bobby Knuckles won't be fighting for much longer. As Whittaker's July 26 scrap with de Ridder approached, the legend reported that he only plans to fight a few more times, but he also said he hoped to hang up the gloves, having reclaimed the middleweight throne. Whittaker ultimately came up short against RDR, however, and lost the fight by a split decision. Following the loss, he told his supporters he definitely will be back. But while talking to the Schmo recently, Borralho had this take on Whittaker's future. Robert Whittaker is a legend. I'm a big fan of him. He's one of the GOATs in the middleweight division, but right now, I feel he doesn't want to be there anymore. His face says that. His body expressions say that. I don't think he wants to go out there and do a 5-round war again. No, I don't believe that. With all due respect, I'm a big fan, but right now, it's just not his moment anymore. He looks very close to retirement or something like that, you know? And while discussing Whittaker's loss to RDR, the surging middleweight said this: I think Whittaker got tired. I don't know what it was, man. They were in Arabia. Sometimes you go there and it's a different time zone. Maybe he didn't do it right. Didn't go 2 weekends ahead. Could be. I don't know when he arrived. He traveled from Australia. Maybe it's just such a different part of the world. Do you agree with Borralho's take here that Whittaker doesn't have the fire he once did? And do you see the Reaper retiring soon? Arman Tsarukyan reveals concerns for Khamzat camp. Heading into Khamzat Chimaev's fight with Dricus du Plessis at UFC 319, Team Chimaev is going all out to make sure that Chimaev is ready to go without being overtrained. During a recent sit-down with Kamil Gadziev, Arman Tsarukyan, who's helping Chimaev train for the fight, explained, Khamzat has improved his recovery ability and strength and conditioning. He's been working on his strength and conditioning twice a week, in addition to striking and sparring sessions and wrestling. He works with a new strength and conditioning coach. So I believe in this fight, his cardio will be very good. He's been tested every day, his recovery ability. There's a device that shows his recovery stats every morning when he gets up, and in case he's overtrained, they let him rest. So he's fully ready, because if you show up overtrained or a sparring session, you can't work properly, so he needs a man beside him who controls him 24/7 and stops him so he doesn't get overtrained. He is a very hard-working guy. Following his big win over Robert Whittaker, Reinier de Ridder is hopeful that if DDP beats Chimaev, the two can fight in 4 to 6 months. As he said in an interview with MMA Fighting, if Khamzat wins decisively, he'll be a huge name, and that might come with him taking a lot of time off after. So it might be better if Dricus wins, and then we can fight in 4 to 6 months. So hopefully, it would be nice if Dricus wins, and we can line it up. With Caio Borralho and Nasruddin Imavov both looking to fight for the title, however, it'll be interesting to see how things play out at 185. The MMA community reacts to Khamzat's insane body transformation. Ahead of his fight against DDP at UFC 319, Khamzat seems to have taken his cardio conditioning to a new level after fans critiqued him for fatiguing during his previous fights. The biggest complaint against Khamzat is his stamina during the fights. It seems that he comes out full force but quickly loses his speed as the rounds go on. Now, during this fight camp, Khamzat's clearly prioritized his cardio as he's been training with Arman Tsarukyan and Aaron Pico, which we'll see at UFC 319 if that made a difference or not. In a recent clip that was released, Khamzat can be seen doing conditioning drills up hills with UFC fighter Aaron Pico. Here's the clip.
Come on! Come on! Come on, Josh! Come on! Mac, what's the next one? The next one. Start with, right? Because of you grabbing. Yeah, it's good position. Good. Walk up that hill, Pico. Let's go. RBY, I'm just catching you. Let's go. Brutal. Come on, Steve. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Come on. That's it. There you go. Keep going. Up the hill. Let's go.
Now, to a video posted to social media, Khamzat can be seen with his shirt off for a few seconds before training, and his body looks to be in great shape. The MMA community was quick to react to Khamzat's transformation. Here's what they had to say. Khamzat is locked in, training hard with his eyes on the title, and nothing else. UFC 319 will be the night of the real beast. Imagine thinking a weak bird chest like Khamzat Chimaev had a chance against this monster. Chimaev putting in the work. He better be in shape. He doesn't want to gas out versus Dricus. He goes super hard in the first round and can't submit Dricus. He could get in trouble. He looks too big. Cutting weight will be crazy for him. DDP by cardio round 4, mark my words. Bro looks pretty chunky for someone who is supposed to be cutting weight. Cardio, bro, cardio. Work on cardio, period. Damn, he big this time. Wow, look about 220. Got a feeling he runs out of gas. With the amount of training that Khamzat is doing for this camp, especially with cardio, how do you see the matchup between DDP and Khamzat playing out? DDP also released a video showing him training, captioned, "You ain't ready." Here's the clip. We have a favor to ask. Help us reach 200,000 subscribers on MMA Zone by subscribing and turning on notifications for daily MMA content. Seriously, we rarely miss a day.